Look, tracking your calories doesn't have to be that complicated. But if you're out here guessing what you're eating, being a maniac and scanning every freaking barcode that you see for your calorie tracking app, or going to the restaurant but not counting your salad because salads don't count, you might be doing something wrong. And that's why you're not seeing results. But today, I'm gonna show you how to track your calories the right way so you're not looking like a mathematician and you don't look like a dum-dum. What's up guys, back with another YouTube video, and I'm so excited to say that I'm almost a quarter of the way there to my goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm still having a hard time saying that word. If you guys could so kindly hit the subscribe button, and if you like these videos, please share it with a friend, and let's get right into the video. Now, if you remember in my previous video, if you don't track your calories, what are you doing? And that's exactly what we're getting into today. And I want to be specific and specify that you don't have to be perfect. Literally, 80% is a passing grade for most of you. If you're Asian, probably not a good time if you got a 99 or below. What? But 80% is a great margin. And if you are consistent with that 80% over a long period of time, that compounding effort is going to make you achieve results. It's going to get you the result that you're looking for. So here we're going to go over how to track your calories, literally, so you don't look like a dum-dum. Tracking your calories. The first thing is you need to measure everything, right? I've always said measure everything. Get a food scale, get a nice fancy one, nice glass one, and measure everything in sight. And I'm throwing that out the window today. I'm not throwing my scale, it's very expensive. The question is, do you really need to weigh out every single thing that you're eating? And my answer is no. What you should instead do is get familiar with what you're currently eating. And this is only going to work if you're consistent with the types of foods that you're eating. If you're changing it up every single day, you're gonna have a really hard time with this. So get familiar with eyeballing your portions. Here's a trick. Use your hand as a measuring tool. A palm-sized portion of protein is 25 to 30 grams of protein. A fist size of carbs is about 40 to 50 grams of carbs. And using your thumbs is about 10 to 15 grams of fat for your fats. This is gonna keep you from looking like a weirdo at restaurants if you bring this scale in. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're totally not embarrassed by that, go right ahead. But if you don't want to look like a weirdo, just use your hand and eyeball it. And seriously, this is an actual great method to do at your own home because it's something you can use for practice when you do go out. So the more you practice at home and more willing to make mistakes because nobody's watching, use this as practice. Again, we're looking for a 20% margin of error, and that's not that bad. Okay, so here's the next thing. Reverse engineer your day. You already know what you're doing for the day. I hope you do. Most people track their calories as a game of Tetris. They do it as they go and they figure it out along the way. But if this is like your first time really tracking honestly, and thinking about what you're eating for the day, that's gonna be a pain in the butt and it's gonna stress you out and you're just gonna wind up giving up, throwing in the towel, and just eating whatever you want. You're just gonna go wild. And you're probably gonna be left with a ton of calories to eat, or you're gonna notice that you overate your calories way too early in the day and then you're gonna be like, man, I can't eat for 12 hours. That's crazy. Here's a simple technique, and we all do this every single morning, and I really hope you're doing this, is log your food at the start of your day. And I'm not saying while you're eating breakfast, I'm literally saying do it on the toilet when you're going to the bathroom. You have 5 to 10 minutes. Instead of scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, use that time to look at your day, divvy up your food, have an idea of what you're eating. Because when you take the time in the morning to plan your day out, you're gonna feel more prepared rather than scrambling to get things done, especially when this is a new habit you're trying to do. This is literally like giving yourself instructions on what to eat ahead of time so you don't make any mistakes. And this leads me to my next point, and it's really necessary to say. Stop obsessing over single days. If you're beating yourself up because you went over 200 to 300 calories, you're missing the big picture. If you overdid it one day, underdo it the next day. It's about balance. Every day is not a reset clock for calories and your body. Your body is running on calories whether you're awake or asleep. That's how it functions, and if it didn't, you'd be dead. Your calorie intake works at a weekly average. So instead of looking at your day-to-day being perfect, take the whole week and average it out. If you were up 200 on one day, compensate by going 200 lower the next day. Or if you were up like 500 one day, maybe not go 500 under the next day, but divvy it out so that you're averaging a little bit lower to compensate for that high day that you had. It's called calorie budgeting. It's literally how we do finances and how we do everything in life. It's about balance. And this way you can be a little bit more relaxed with your approach with tracking your calories. And remember that 80-20 rule I brought up last time? Just the 20% margin of error that you can have? Well, food labels have a margin of error up to 20%. I think it might be a little bit more. My sources might say I might be wrong, but if I'm wrong, please comment below. So if you're scanning your foods and you're saying, oh, I'm perfect, I'm perfect, I'm perfect, there's a 20% margin of error. So you can be up 20% every day and not realize it. And then you're gonna look at the scale when you step on it every morning and wonder why you're not losing weight. And let me caveat by saying this. If you're not predominantly eating whole foods, what are you doing? This is gonna royally screw you up. If you're eating any food out, or if you're just constantly just eating quick, easy go grab things to get your sources in or your calories in, you're gonna have a hard time losing weight because you never know how many calories you are actually eating. Have you ever eaten 100-calorie snack and then felt like, man, I'm a little bit more full than normal? It's probably because it was a little bit more than that. Maybe 120 calories, maybe 150 calories, maybe 200, who knows? And there's probably more mechanisms involved in that, but eating more predominantly whole foods is gonna help you out with this, especially when you go to sources like high fiber foods like raspberries or vegetables and high protein like animals to keep you full. When you eat whole foods, you're gonna have an easier time balancing out your calorie distribution throughout the week and throughout the day. So you will have an easier time losing weight. So if you're eating a lot of packaged foods, you might be underestimating what you're actually eating. So the fix is to track the trends, not the calories. And this is what I mean by that. If the scale isn't moving down the way it should be moving, adjust based off of that. So if it's staying the same on a week-to-week basis, so then just eat a little bit less, maybe kind of come off of those foods or eat less of the portion that it recommends on the food label. To caveat that is you're looking at weekly progress, not daily progress, because daily progress doesn't really give you a good reflection because every single day is different. Life is gonna stress you out even more. You're gonna drink more or less water, good or bad sleep. There's a lot of variables that accumulate and that add on to your weight gain or weight loss. So it's important to take that into consideration when you're considering your weight loss and tracking your calories. Weekly averages is what's best when you're tracking these kinds of things. And I saved this part for last because this is the simplest thing you can be doing to track your calories so you don't look like a dum-dum. Eat the same core meals all the time. Eat the same breakfast. Eat the same lunch. Eat the same dinner. We don't have to have variance. Tracking every different meal is exhausting. It's like a science experiment. You don't want to do it every day. It's a new project you have to constantly iterate and change all the time because you're using this sauce and you're doing this recipe with this much butter and this much rice, and then stop. You're not gonna get bored. Those are lies you just tell yourself because you think you're gonna get bored. It's a safety mechanism because our anxieties get the best of us. And I'm really, really serious when I tell you this. Try it for a week and a half or 2 weeks straight. I guarantee you're not gonna get bored. You're actually gonna enjoy what you're doing. You know why? Because the scale is gonna go down and it's gonna move in the direction you want it to go in. And because you're eating the same core meals all the time, you can rely on it. They're so reliable, you can't fail. And this is what makes your life easier. When you eat the same core meals all the time, you don't have to bother logging them in. You can just simply plug and play, eat the same things. You had 5 ounces yesterday of chicken and rice. Cool, you're gonna have 5 ounces of chicken and rice today. Why bother logging it in? You already know the calories for that. You already know that you had the same thing for breakfast, the same snack, and the same dinner for later on. So screw it, don't even have to log. So you're wasting less time being a mathematician and plugging it in all the time and just eating and enjoying your life. That's the whole point. MyFitnessPal and all these apps want you to use them all the time, but the truth is you don't have to use them, and you don't have to use this thing either. It's a great tool, but sometimes tools aren't necessary. Once you build a house with a hammer, you probably don't need the hammer as often as you think. You keep it around just in case you might need it again, but you're not using it on a day-to-day basis because the house has already been built. Same thing with a food scale. You don't need to use it all the time, but it's good to have just in case things change up a little bit or you need to make adjustments. So that's it. That's how you track your calories without looking like a dum-dum. So you're not a mathematician, you're not on your phone all the time, you're not looking like a weirdo at a restaurant bringing your food scale in. You're just keeping life super simple so that you can get to your goals faster and enjoy the process in tracking your calories. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like, share with a friend, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm going to say that every single time, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.